Hey coin collectors, welcome back to the channel where we dive into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. In today's video, we're talking about one of the most iconic coins in American history, the bicentennial quarter. We'll be counting down the top 4 bicentennial quarters in terms of value while exploring their rich history. So let's dive in. 1976 bicentennial quarter. The bicentennial in 1976 marked 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. To celebrate, the U.S. Mint released special editions of 3 coins, the quarter, the half dollar, and the dollar. Each of these coins featured unique designs that honored the nation's history. Now, the quarter we're focusing on today is special because it doesn't just have the usual George Washington portrait on both sides. Instead, the reverse side showcases a unique design that's full of symbolism. On the obverse, or the front of the 1976 bicentennial quarter, you still see George Washington, the founding father himself, but with a small twist. Unlike regular quarters that have the date at the bottom, this coin has a dual date, 1776 to 1976. This immediately sets it apart. But the real magic is on the reverse side. Instead of the usual eagle, we see a drummer boy. Designed by Jack L.R., it symbolizes the role ordinary people played in the Revolutionary War behind him. There's a torch encircled by 13 stars representing the original 13 colonies. It's a powerful tribute to the nation's history. Now, there are a few things you need to know about where these coins were made. Bicentennial quarters were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If your quarter was minted in Philadelphia, it won't have a mint mark. If it came from Denver, you'll see a small D, and the ones minted in San Francisco have an NS mint mark. Here's where it gets even more interesting. The San Francisco Mint produced 2 types of bicentennial quarters, one in clad composition like regular quarters and one in 40% silver, which is much more valuable today. Okay, let's talk about what these coins are worth today. Most bicentennial quarters that you find in circulation are made of a copper-nickel blend. These are pretty common, so if you've got one in average condition, it's still worth about 25 cents. However, if your coin is in uncirculated condition, meaning it looks brand new, it could be worth around $1 to $3. But the real value comes from the silver quarters minted in San Francisco. If you have one of these, even in circulated condition, it could be worth around $5 to $7. Uncirculated silver bicentennial quarters can fetch up to $20 or more. And if it's graded by a professional grading service, high-quality silver bicentennial quarters can go for even higher. So, how do you know if your bicentennial quarter is silver? First, look at the edge of the coin. A regular clad quarter will show a copper stripe along the edge, while a silver quarter will have a solid silver edge. Also, check for the S Mint mark, which is the giveaway for San Francisco minted silver versions. Now, let's talk about those rare and high-grade bicentennial quarters. If you have a quarter in mint state condition, what collectors call MS for mint state, its value can skyrocket. MEM 65 or higher graded bicentennial quarters can go for $20 to $40 or more depending on demand. There are also proof versions of the bicentennial quarter which were specially made for collectors. These coins are usually very shiny with a mirror-like finish, and these can be worth between $7 and $15 depending on their condition. 2019 Lowell State Quarter. The 2019 Lowell Quarter is part of the Ameriful Quarters program, which began in 2010 and ran until 2021. This series highlights national parks, monuments, and historical sites from every state territory and the District of Columbia. The 2019 Lowell Quarter specifically represents Lowell National Historical Park. Let's first talk about the design. The obverse, like All America, the Beautiful Quarters, features the portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan and used since 1932. But the reverse, that's where the magic happens. The reverse of the Lowell Quarter was designed by Joel Iskowitz and sculpted by Phoebe Hemphill. It celebrates the rich industrial history of Lowell, Massachusetts. You can see a woman operating a power loom, which symbolizes the role of female laborers in the textile industry, in the background. There's a view of one of Lowell's famous mill buildings with a clock tower, a nod to the Industrial Revolution that changed the face of American labor in the 19th century. So, why is Lowell significant? This city was one of the birthplaces of the American Industrial Revolution, particularly in the textile industry. Lowell National Historical Park preserves and shares this rich history, allowing visitors to learn about the changes in manufacturing labor that helped shape modern America. Now, let's get into the minting details. The Lowell Quarter was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia P, Denver D, and San Francisco S. The P and D coins were produced for general circulation, while the S mint mark coins are proof versions intended for collectors. Here are the production numbers for each mint. Philadelphia Mint, 191.8 million coins. Denver Mint, 182.2 million coins. San Francisco Mint Proof, just over 1.1 million coins. All right, now for the part you've been waiting for, the value of the 2019 Lowell Quarter. If you find a regular circulated quarter, its value is generally 25 cents. However, some factors can make certain coins more valuable. For instance, if you have a high-grade uncirculated coin that's a coin straight from the mint with little to no wear, it could be worth a few dollars, depending on the grade. A top-rated MEM 67 or MEM 68 Lowell Quarter could sell for anywhere between $50 and $150. If you're lucky enough to have a San Francisco Proof Quarter, especially in a perfect Pro 70 Deep Cameo grade, these coins could be valued at $20 to $30. Plus, always be on the lookout for error coins. Error coins, such as double die strikes or off-center prints, can significantly raise a coin's value, sometimes into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the rarity. Now, if you have a special coin, preserving its condition is key to maintaining or increasing its value. Always store your coins in a cool, dry place and handle them as little as possible, preferably with gloves or by holding them by the edges. And if you think your coin might be rare or in pristine condition, consider getting it graded by a professional service like Pegs or Nank. Fort Moultrie 2016 State Quarter. The Fort Moultrie Quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, which honors national parks and historic sites across the U.S. Fort Moultrie, located in South Carolina, was part of the defense of Charleston during the American Revolutionary War. It's named after Colonel William Moultrie, who led the fort's defense against the British fleet in 1776. The victory at Fort Moultrie was crucial, delaying British occupation of the South and boosting American morale during the war. The fort, which is part of the Fort Sumter National Monument, has seen action in various periods of American history, from the Revolutionary War to the Civil War. It was originally made of palmetto logs and sand, materials that remarkably absorb clan fire, earning a place in the lore of American defense. Now, let's talk about the coin itself. Released by the U.S. Mint on November 14th, 2016. This quarter is the 35th in the America the Beautiful series and specifically highlights Fort Moultrie's historic significance. On the obverse, like all quarters in this series, we have the familiar image of George Washington, the first president of the United States. This design has been a staple of U.S. quarters since 1932. On the reverse, you'll find a detailed depiction of Sergeant William Jasper during the 1776 battle. Sergeant Jasper is shown running across the sand holding the regimental flag of South Carolina. He's bravely returning the flag to its position after it was knocked down by British cannon fire. The coin was designed by Richard Scott and sculpted by Joseph Mena. The inscriptions on the reverse include Fort Moultrie, South Carolina 2016 and E Pluribus Unum. This coin beautifully captures a moment of heroism during the birth of the nation. Like all modern quarters, the Fort Moultrie coin was minted in 3 locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can identify where your coin was minted by looking for the mint mark, which can be found on the obverse side near Washington's ponytail. P stands for the Philadelphia Mint, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. While Philadelphia and Denver mints produce these quarters for circulation, the San Francisco Mint produced proof versions for collectors. There are also silver-proof versions made from 90% silver, which adds to their collector value. Now, let's talk about the value. Most Fort Moultrie quarters from the Philadelphia or Denver mints found in circulation are only worth their face value of 25 cents. However, coins in uncirculated condition, those that have not been used and remain pristine, can be worth a bit more. Uncirculated coins can be worth around $1 to $2 depending on their condition. If you have a San Francisco minted proof quarter, values can range from $3 to $6. Silver proof quarters, which are highly sought after by collectors, can be worth around $15 to $20 or more depending on their condition. As always, the value of a coin can vary based on its grade, scarcity, and demand. Coins graded by professional services like Pegs or Nank can fetch even higher prices, especially if they achieve a high grade. 1999 Connecticut State Quarter. The Connecticut Cut Quarter was part of the U.S. Mint's famous 50 State Quarters program. Launched in 1999, this program aimed to honor each of the 50 states by featuring unique designs on the reverse of the quarter. Connecticut's quarter was the last state to be released in 1999, rounding out the first year of the series. The reverse side of the 1999 Connecticut State Quarter features an image of the charter oak, a legendary symbol of Connecticut's fight for independence. The tree was said to have hidden the state's charter from British authorities in the late 1600s, making it a powerful emblem of freedom and defiance. On the obverse side, like all U.S. quarters, we have the classic image of George Washington. This remained consistent throughout the entire 50-state quarter series. Now let's talk about where these coins were minted. The 1999 Connecticut State Quarter was produced at 3 different mints. Philadelphia denoted by the P mint mark, Denver denoted by the D mint mark, San Francisco denoted by the S mint mark for proof coins. In total, over 1.3 billion Connecticut quarters were struck across these mints, making it a common find in circulation today. But as with any coin, rarity isn't the only factor when determining value. Let's talk value. If you find a 1999 Connecticut Cut quarter in your pocket change, chances are it's worth 25 cents. But if you've got one in mint condition, things get a little more interesting. Circulated coins, these are the coins you'd find in your everyday transactions. Most circulated Connecticut quarters are only worth face value. However, if the coin is in very good condition, it might fetch around 50 cents to $1 for collectors. Uncirculated coins, now this is where the value goes up. Uncirculated coins, especially those with the P or D mint marks, can range from $1 to $5 depending on the condition and the grade. Proof coins, the S mint mark quarters, which were made specifically for collectors, are typically proof coins. A pristine proof coin could be worth $5 to $15 depending on its condition. Coin grading plays a huge role in determining the value of any coin, and the 1999 Connecticut quarter is no exception. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. M6063 mid-state coins in this range might have minor imperfections but still have great eye appeal. These coins are often valued between $2 and $5. M65 and above, coins graded MS65 or higher are truly stunning examples. These coins can be valued anywhere between $5 and $20 or even more in exceptional cases. Now, here's where things get exciting for collectors' error coins. Some Connecticut quarters have been discovered with minting errors such as off-center strikes or double dies. These error coins can be worth much more than regular examples. Depending on the error, the value of these quarters can range from $50 to several $100s. Before we wrap up, here's a fun fact. Did you know that the actual charter oak fell during a storm in 1856? Today, pieces of this historic tree are preserved in museums and monuments throughout Connecticut. It remains an enduring symbol of the state's rich history and heritage. So whether you're holding on to a Connecticut quarter for its beauty, historical significance, or potential value, it's definitely a coin worth having in your collection. What's your favorite coin from the 50 State Quarter series? Let us know in the comments below. 87 Morgan Dollar. First, a little background on the Morgan Dollar series itself. Named after its designer George T. Morgan, these coins were minted from 1878 to 1904 and once more in 1921. The Morgan dollar played a huge role in American currency, reflecting a time when the U.S. was transitioning from Reconstruction to the height of the Industrial Revolution. Now, the Morgan dollar was primarily produced to use up the massive silver reserves accumulated from mining in the western U.S. The 1887 Morgan dollar is a prime example of this era in U.S. coinage, minted in the prime of the series run. Now let's talk design. The Morgan dollar is a large, hefty coin made of 90% silver and 10% copper, weighing in at 26.73 grams with a diameter of 38.1 m. It feels like a substantial piece of history in your hand. On the obverse side, you'll see the portrait of Lady Liberty. But here's something you might not know. George T. Morgan designed Liberty based on the profile of a real American woman, Anna Willis Williams. She's wearing a Phrygian cap symbolizing freedom, and her hair is adorned with wheat and cotton, representing America's agricultural economy. On the reverse, you've got the iconic American bald eagle clutching an olive branch and arrows symbolizing peace and preparedness for war. Above the eagle is the motto "In God We Trust," and surrounding the eagle are 13 stars representing the original colonies. So what about the mintage numbers? Well, 1887 was a common year for Morgan dollars with over 20 million coins minted across 3 mints: Philadelphia, New Orleans, and San Francisco. Here's a breakdown. Philadelphia Mint No Mint Mark produced around 20 million coins. New Orleans Mint O Mint Mark produced a smaller but still substantial number. San Francisco Mint S Mint Mark struck far fewer coins, making the S Mint Mark Morgan dollars slightly rarer. The Philadelphia Mint produced the most coins, so the no Mint Mark versions are more common, while the O and S Mint Marks add a touch of scarcity. Now let's get to the part you've been waiting for: the value. What's your 1887 Morgan dollar worth today? Well, it all depends on its condition, mint mark, and whether it's graded or not. For circulated coins and lower grades, good to very fine, you're generally looking at prices between $35 and $50. But here's where it gets exciting: in uncirculated mint state conditions, the value can skyrocket. Common Mississippi 60 to MS63 coins usually sell for around $70 to $100. If you're lucky enough to have a higher grade like MS65, you're talking about values upwards of $200 to $250. And remember, any special varieties such as tone coins or coins with exceptional eye appeal can command even higher prices. The rarer New Orleans O and San Francisco S mint mark coins tend to be worth more, especially in higher grades. Several factors can affect the value of your 1887 Morgan dollar. Let's break them down. Condition: grade. The better the condition, the higher the value. Make sure to have your coin professionally graded if it's in particularly good shape. Mint mark, as mentioned earlier, the O and S mint marks can add value, especially in high grades. Rarity and demand. Although 1887 isn't the rarest year for Morgan dollars, there's always demand for well-preserved examples. Toning and eye appeal. Some collectors are willing to pay extra for coins with beautiful toning or particularly strong strikes. 1978 $1. First off, let's clear up a common misconception. The last official year Morgan silver dollars were minted for circulation was actually 1921. So you might be wondering, what's the deal with the 1978 Morgan silver dollar? The Morgan silver dollar was first minted in 1878 and continued until 1921. Designed by George T. Morgan, it's one of the most iconic and collected U.S. coins. But after 1921, there were no more Morgans struck for circulation. So, any 1978 Morgan silver dollar you're seeing is most likely a replica, not an original U.S. mint coin. Many replica coins have been produced to celebrate anniversaries or to meet the demand for nostalgic designs. These replica coins were usually made from various materials. Some are silver-plated, while others might be made of base metals like copper-nickel alloys. If you come across one, it's important to know it doesn't carry the same historical or intrinsic value as original Morgans. Original Morgan silver dollars were made of 90% silver and 10% copper, giving them significant intrinsic value based on their silver content alone. But replicas like this one don't contain nearly the same amount of precious metal, if any at all. Now let's talk value. If you're holding an actual 1978 Morgan replica coin, its value can range from a few dollars up to around $30, depending on the materials used and its condition. If it's silver-plated or made from low-cost metals, the value tends to be more on the lower side. If it's a higher quality replica with silver content, the value can go up slightly, but it will never match the value of original Morgans. So, how can you tell if you have an original Morgan dollar from the 1800s or a replica? One quick check is the date. If it says 1978, it's a replica. Original Morgans were only minted between 1878 and 1921. Another way is to check the weight and feel. Original Morgans weigh about 26.73 grams, and their silver content gives them a distinctive heft. 1972 $1. The Morgan dollar is one of the most beloved coins in American history. Designed by engraver George T. Morgan, this silver dollar was first minted in 1878. It features Lady Liberty on the front and an eagle on the reverse, symbolizing strength and freedom. The coin was minted until 1904 and then again in 1921, making it a staple of American currency during that era. However, you might be wondering, what about the 1972 Morgan dollar? Well, here's where it gets interesting. While the Morgan dollar was not officially minted in 1972, the U.S. Mint did produce a small number of commemorative coins that year. However, many collectors mistakenly believe that the 1972 Morgan dollar was produced, which has led to confusion and misconceptions in the numismatic community. The last year of production for the Morgan dollar was 1921, but it remains a hot topic among collectors, especially those who focus on the historical significance of the series. Now, let's discuss the value of the Morgan dollar series. Authentic Morgan dollars can vary in value significantly based on their condition, rarity, and mint mark. For example, common dates can range from $20 to $40, while rare dates can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Coins in uncirculated condition, known as MS65 or higher, tend to have the highest values. Collectors also look for unique features like strong strikes, minimal wear, and attractive toning. If you're interested in starting your collection, here are a few tips. First, educate yourself about the different mint marks and years. Second, connect with other collectors through online forums or local coin clubs. Lastly, always buy from reputable dealers to ensure authenticity. Morgan $1 1976. The Morgan dollar is one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history, minted from 1878 to 1904 and again in 1921. But did you know that a special edition was struck in 1976? Let's explore the details. The 1976 Morgan dollar was created to commemorate the United States bicentennial. It was minted at the San Francisco Mint and was part of a unique set featuring both the Morgan dollar and the peace dollar. This coin, however, was produced as a collector's item rather than for general circulation. Now let's take a closer look at the design. On the obverse, we have the classic image of Lady Liberty designed by George T. Morgan. She's wearing a Phrygian cap adorned with a wreath, symbolizing freedom and victory. And on the reverse, we find an eagle holding arrows and an olive branch, a representation of peace and strength. This design has remained a favorite among collectors for over a century. When it comes to mintage, the 1976 Morgan dollar has a unique story. Only 4,000 coins were minted, and they were sold as part of the bicentennial silver coin set, which also included a 1976S Washington quarter and a 1976S Kennedy half dollar. The 1976 Morgan dollar was struck in 90% silver, making it quite valuable. But keep in mind, there are different mint marks to consider. The most common mint mark for this coin is the S for San Francisco, which is also what makes it a little more desirable to collectors. And for those who love variations, there are proofs and uncirculated versions of this coin that also hold a higher value due to their quality. Now let's talk about value. The current market for the 1976 Morgan dollar fluctuates depending on its condition, rarity, and demand. In good condition, you might find it valued around $30 to $40. In very fine condition, the value increases to $60 to $80. In uncirculated condition, you could be looking at a price tag of $100 to $200 or more. Proof coins, especially those in pristine condition, can reach upwards of $300 to $500. Always remember to have your coins professionally graded to ensure you get an accurate value. 1974 Morgan $1. The Morgan dollar was first minted in 1878 and became one of the most beloved coins in American history. Designed by George T. Morgan, it features a stunning portrait of Lady Liberty on the obverse and an eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. For nearly 3 decades, the Morgan dollar was the standard silver dollar of the United States, reflecting the nation's growth during the Industrial Revolution. However, the coin's production ceased in 1904, and it wasn't until 1921 that it was minted again. Interestingly, there was no official Morgan dollar minted in 1974, as production had shifted to the peace dollar and later the Eisenhower dollar. However, the story of the Morgan dollar didn't end there. Now, let's discuss the specific details of the 1974 Morgan dollar. This coin is not an officially minted coin from that year, but rather, it's a product of later coin collectors and private mints. The 1974 Morgan dollar was produced primarily as a collectible piece, often made from silver-plated alloys. It typically features the same design elements as its earlier counterparts, but is often produced in lower quantities. This means that while you might find a 1974 Morgan dollar, it won't hold the same historical significance or value as original Morgan dollars from the 19th or early 20th centuries. So what's the value of a 1974 Morgan dollar? Since this coin was produced as a collectible rather than as currency, its value can vary widely. On average, a 1974 Morgan dollar can range from $10 to $30 depending on its condition and whether it's a silver-plated version or a more authentic strike from a private mint. However, it's essential to note that genuine silver content plays a significant role in determining its worth. If you're looking to purchase or sell a 1974 Morgan dollar, always check for current silver market prices, as they can influence the value significantly. Many collectors view the 1974 Morgan dollar as an interesting piece to add to their collection, particularly for those who appreciate the rich history of the Morgan series. If you're a beginner in coin collecting or looking to diversify your collection, the 1974 Morgan dollar can be an affordable entry point. However, collectors should always verify the coin's authenticity and consult reputable dealers before making any purchases.